What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another classic, scary movie review. With the release of It Chapter 2 out in theaters this weekend, guys, I had to review one of the It movies before that film came out, and the one I haven't reviewed yet is the 1990 miniseries. That is It 1990. This was a made-for-TV miniseries, and it's directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, the man who directed Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, and it stars Tim Curry as Pennywise. So this miniseries dives into the Losers Club with them as kids and them as adults. It's 30 years apart. It takes place in the 1960s when they were kids, and then 30 years later in the 1990s when they're adults. Pretty much the kids, the Losers Club, all of them are trying to fight off against the evil clown Pennywise, who is haunting the streets of Derry, Maine, and they gotta try to stop him, and then they come back as adults to try to stop him once and for all. Stephen King wrote the iconic novel. I would say this is probably his most iconic novel of all time. It was like seriously that great of a book. And so when it was adapted into a 1990 made-for-TV movie, it had a lot of mixed reactions when it came out in 1990. But then they remade it in 2017, and I really loved that remake of it. I thought it was great all around and fantastic. I do think this is a good movie, but it's not a great movie all around. There are good parts to it, and there are issues to it. I just remember really being creeped out all around by Tim Curry when I was a kid. Just having nightmares of seeing that white face and that red hair of a clown, having that fear of clowns, and Tim Curry definitely portrayed that for kids back in the day. But rewatching it as an adult, it's funny to me because I don't find Pennywise scary at all being an adult, but Tim Curry gives a great performance as the character, as the look all around. I still think Bill Skarsgård is a better Pennywise, but still, Tim Curry made the character of Pennywise iconic. When it comes to horror monsters or horror movies all around, Pennywise is one of the more iconic horror villains of all time. Tim Curry and Bill Skarsgård both portrayed the character really well, but Tim Curry, I think he kind of resembled the fun and total creepiness of Pennywise all around. The first hour and a half of this movie is really great. I love the kid aspects of the Losers Club. We just have great characters all around. Bill, Beverly, Ben, Richie, etc., etc. I can't name all of them into one. And I really like how unlikable the Bowers gang was. Henry was definitely a piece of shit, but the actors did a really great job, the younger version and the older version all around. I would say all of the younger kid aspects were the best cast all around. When it comes to some of my favorite scenes in this movie, I think my favorite scene is with Eddie in the shower with Pennywise. When Pennywise comes out of the floor and just talks to Eddie like, girly boy. Like, that's really creepy. Like a freaking clown just popping out of nowhere. I might as well just get out right now. Unfortunately, because I really liked them as kids, I don't like the adult aspects at all about this movie. The last hour and a half of this movie, it's a 3-hour long movie TV miniseries, is them as adults. Like the first act is getting right into the characters with them as adults, going back in depth to them as kids. It goes back and forth, and now it's them as adults. And now they got to stop Pennywise once and for all, and all the adult aspects. The last 2 and 3rd acts of this movie are boring. Out of all the adults, I would say my favorite was probably adult Mike, because he was the more normal and the more reserved out of all of them. Like, I like his character more. The runtime for this movie is way too long. It's 3 hours and 7 minutes long. It's not Lord of the Rings, for Christ's sakes. This final act is way too long. They should have shortened like 30 to 35 minutes of scenes, just added in here just for depth and to be faithful to the novel. Most of the things that were faithful to the novel were really great and fit the story, but other things that were faithful to the novel did not work. Frickin' Beverly. I do not like what they do to Beverly at all for this movie. I'm just gonna be completely honest, making her a complete slut most of this movie, just flirting with the Losers Club members. They all are hugging Beverly, kissing Beverly, like they all want Beverly, and I just did not like it. I really didn't. and made Beverly a very weak character, a weak female character. Another issue I have is with the lack of Pennywise in the final act of this movie. Pennywise, Tim Curry shows up in about 10 minutes, and then he turns into a freaking spider the last 10 minutes of this movie, and it's like, what? And the fact they freaking beat Pennywise that freaking easily. I mean, I know it's in the book, but really? Like, and also most of the deaths of this movie were freaking stupid. Freaking Eddie and Mike also getting hospitalized and stuff like that is just stupid. And Stan as well. Like, most of the adult aspects were really lackluster and disappointing and wasn't an epic finale. In the end, guys, It 1990 is not an awful movie at all. I do like the first act of this movie a lot. It is a good, solid film off of Stephen King's novel, but this movie is just too long and overstayed its welcome in the final act. A lot of disappointing aspects. They could have fixed so much with certain characters and storylines, but I do think this is a good movie and one to watch before It Chapter 2. On my rating scale, I'm going to give the 1990 It movie a 3 out of 5 stars. There you have it, guys. That was my thoughts on the 1990 It miniseries. What are your guys' thoughts on the 1990 It movie? Do you guys love it? Think it's okay, or did you absolutely hate it? Let's talk about it down below in the comments. Thank you guys, as always, for watching this review. All my social media links are in the description below. They all float down here, and I'll see you in the next review.